Astrology of Self-Care, November 2nd, 2023, written, directed, and produced by Reverend Dr. Dickie Joe Mullen. Dr. Mullen explores the multi-dimensional aspects of self-care in this video. She looks at the many elements of self-care as she discusses the importance of taking time for oneself. For instance, looking at the physical needs that one has, the concerns around work and resource management and development, as well as personal space, which is an important element of this, particularly around developing boundaries, wherein which one can self-rejuvenate as well as become engaged in social experiences. And personal space, which involves developing goals, stability within oneself and outwardly, creativity, hobbies, for instance, as well as social interactions and social support kinds of activities, emotional elements of the self, and of course, the spiritual dimension. As you note on the bottom of this image, we look at the doing to being continuum. A lot of our life is focused around what we do. Sometimes people are recognized with what they do as opposed to who they are, which would be more toward the being dimension. So developing a balance between doing and being is quite a challenge for most of us throughout our life course, but most important so that we're holistically approaching our lives, attending both to body, mind, and spirit as we become fully actualized human beings. Now, Dr. Mullen will talk about this topic in depth.
Hello, stargazers. I'm astrologer and Dickie Joe Mullen here in Orlando, Florida, bringing you astrological messages about self-care. That might sound like I'm encouraging you to be a narcissist or selfish, but I'm really not. Self-care is a term that's becoming very popular in the metaphysical world, and it actually involves being better toward others. If we take the best and brightest care of ourselves, we can be an asset to the world around us and the people closest to us. Seekers on the discovery path of higher consciousness, those searching the brightest and the best, are encountering this popular new phrase, self-care. And that, of course, includes all of us who are studying astrology, we would hope. A first impression, again, can be negative. It's not selfishness or even narcissism which can come to mind. However, self-care is something quite different. It is far, far and away from the pitfall of being too subjective and too self-absorbed. It refers to various activities which will refresh your mind and your spirit. How can you use astrology to accomplish those ideals? To relax and rejuvenate the whole self, self-care personalizes the best potentials within you that lead to fulfillment and the ability to do all you can with your life. It is being genuine in a way that blossoms into becoming a blessing again to everything and everyone, starting with the self. There are several different facets in the whole spectrum of self-care. The natal astrology chart, your familiar birth chart, is an excellent guide for touching upon and recognizing the 6 key steps in achieving self-care: physical, emotional, social, intellectual, practical, and spiritual are self-care steps. The luminaries, the sun and the moon, the rising sign in the birth chart, that's the ascendant, the midheaven, which is the 10th house cusp, the top of the house of your chart, the top of the 10th house, and sort of the high noon position in your chart, and your personal planets, those are the ones we can see without a telescope, are going to be important. The ascendant or rising sign in the 6th house will show you how to discover self-help through physical care. This is caring for the temple of the spirit, which is your physical body. Accomplish what you want to as far as anything to do with your appearance, that might be weight control, anything to do with your wardrobe, hairstyles, hair colors. The first impression that people see is the temple of the spirit. the physical self, despite what's going on within. The moon sign reveals your emotional elements and self-care. Acknowledge your true feelings, attune to the inner weather. The emotions harmonize with the universe. Identify negative memories to release. Amplify the positive feelings. Consider anger, joy, enthusiasm, discouragement, and more as you deal with your moon sign and self-care. Venus is your social planet, social self-awareness. We think of the love goddess, and expressing love for yourself or for an idea or a situation is going to be important with self-care. Relationships of all kinds, your social support system. This bolsters the life experience described by Venus in the birth chart. Look at the 7th house of your horoscope to further have insights concerning social self-care. It's your SQ, your social quotient, which many people feel is more important than the IQ, or intelligence quotient, in functioning. Mercury is the indicator of intellectual and mental self-care. Getting through puzzling circumstances, thinking through uncertainty and stress, keeping your mind is the builder, processes working, education to keep the wits and good judgment in top form. That's Mercury's rule. The 3rd house of your birth chart will offer you deeper insights into the elements of self-care that have to do with your mind. Mars links to the grounding and practical tasks of self-care. Mars is the planet of energy, challenges that define the rounds of obligations we have to meet to keep everything going and dynamic in our lives. Think of making a dentist appointment, getting the car serviced, shopping for groceries and other supplies, paying bills, managing time wisely. Mars will tell you that. Also, Mars is accidentally dignified in the 10th house, the midheaven of the natal chart. So look at that part of your birth chart for more insights into what the practical elements of self-care represent. Finally, Jupiter, the outermost of the personal planets, represents growth beyond old parameters. Jupiter is a huge planet. It represents expansion and growth astrologically, and that's important in self-care. It also is growth in faith and spiritual adventures. Deepening your connection to all that transcends this individual microcosm we can live in to create a macrocosm of vastness. Keep your world wide, especially as retirement years loom. The cosmic are steps in the path to spiritual self-care. The 12th and the 9th houses will offer insights about the astrological guidance of maintaining spiritual self-care. Think of meditation, dream interpretation, and your religious beliefs. I have a 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 familiar birth signs here for the astrology of self-care. For those of you who are in Aries, and again, this is the tip of the iceberg, but it gives us a place to start, or who have a strong Aries component, self-care can involve a boxing workout. Boxing is a wonderful exercise for physical fitness, emotional release of stress. Your strength of sense and power will move to a whole new level if you're kicking out, punching, or ducking maneuvers, not as a person, of course, but as an exercise. And taking preventative health care measures, maintaining wholesome habits is especially important to you this year and with self-care, Aries. Taurus, your self-care represents connecting with nature. Taurus is a very earthy earth sign. Relax near the forest, near the water. Listen to waves hitting the shore. Listen to the rustling of trees or maybe birds singing, possibly leaves falling. Enjoy the sensual feeling and fragrance of the fallen leaves and grasses to feel less stressed. If you're going outside, try listening to recordings to nature. of nature, or if you can't go outside or into nature, recordings might help you. Sounds are extremely important to Taurus. You relate to the ears, and so music can be very useful in self-care. Maybe that's true of everyone to an extent, but particularly Taurus. Gemini, when you think of self-care, you have to use words correctly. Tell a good joke, laugh, lighten up. A sense of humor, nurtured by positive jokes and stories, can be a real asset in maintaining wellness. For Cancer, Cancers are the water crab. Water sign influences like a waterfront stroll, an afternoon of boating can reinforce your mental and physical wellness. Stress control and anger management is essential when you're thinking of memories from the past, those old tapes. For some quick self-care, bake a loaf of homemade bread. The wholesome aroma and time spent kneading and preparing dough, preparing a fresh snack ready to share, promises a nurturing experience. For Leo, your self-care can involve the mineral kingdom. May arrange a circle of your favorite crystals or stones into a mandala that represents the sun, to you, your ruler, on your bedside table or your desk. Carrying a medicine bag of high vibration stones with you will help to assure high vibrations and self-care always. Include amber, peridot, leopard jasper, and tiger's eye agate. These are all excellent choices for you Leos. Virgo, self-care can involve your potential as being a creative artist, blending some colors that express how you feel, whether it's in your wardrobe or maybe using watercolors or markers, design a mandala, incorporating words and symbols into an important milestone in your life. As a learning experience, take time to appreciate everything that has touched your life. You Virgos tend to be overly critical of things. Look to see the sunlight behind the clouds that have been clouding your life for some nice self-care. For Libra, sharing with others is important. Plan a treat with a congenial friend, share an event, suggest a get-together, maybe to bake a cake. I'm doing a poetry line here and I don't know where that's coming from. Purchase tickets to see a film or concert together, Libra. The key word is together, a shared experience for your self-care. Scorpios, for self-care, you're always interested in the spirit world. Take a ghost tour. They're a lot of fun and they remind us that we're not alone. That thank goodness this world isn't all there is, and you can really realize that if you learn about validating and investigating paranormal phenomena. Sagittarius, for self-care, taking time to try something new, explore a new intellectual challenge, check out documentaries featuring travel to places with an intriguing history. Also, you can visit a no-kill animal shelter because you especially relate to the animal worlds. Think of how the sign of Sagittarius is the half-horse, half-human figure, the centaur, and for self-care, attuning to the world of pets, also wildlife, can help both you and animals in need. Capricorn, self-care for you represents developing a daily plan. Your ruler Saturn is all about time. Don't waste valuable time and resources. Value your routine with each season to keep the day's pace from becoming the daily grind. Aquarians, you need warmth during the winter and to stay cool in the summer. Your circulatory system is very sensitive. If you're an Aquarian, for self-care, get involved in keeping your environment healthy. Also, you can go further to get involved with volunteer positions, bringing rewarding experience to others, but not to getting too much of a personal tie. It's like you want to keep your characteristic detachment in order. Try making snacks for the needy and tutoring school children, again, caring for animals in need, or maybe visiting patients in care facilities. Finally, Pisces, the healthcare consequences of past lifestyles particularly are important because you absorb and take in so much. With self-care, you have to release those and also especially look into hereditary factors. Pay special attention to the health of your feet and comfortable shoes, reflexology, massaging the feet, elevating the foot baths. That can help because our feet carry us where we are supposed to go. And that's the important idea about self-care, finding the right way to go. This is Dickie Jo wishing you a healthy journey through the process of astrology and self-care.
Reverend Dr. Dickie Jo Mullen, astrologer, psychic, and parapsychologist. Dr. Mullen provides the following services: astrology, psychic, rune, and tarot card readings, face-to-face and Zoom readings and seances, and webinars and face-to-face presentations. Thank you for watching. Reverend Dr. Dickie Jo Mullen can be contacted at her skymaiden@juno.com email address. She also has a Facebook page, which she invites you to view, and her WordPress site, where she has additional resources.